Hello YouTube, this is Nate from the Nate and Colby Show, and tonight I'm bringing you some Smite, Battleground of the Gods. Our focus for this video is Ares, the God of War. Ares is classified as a magical tank. Essentially, he's built around the premise of being the enemy team's punching bag. Ares also has the potential to deal some pretty substantial magic damage if, and I stress if, built properly. Which leads me to the core of his build. He needs cooldown reduction and a Void Stone. For cooldown reduction, I recommend Breastplate of Valor and Boots of Celerity. Breastplate of Valor offers 25% cooldown reduction, 550 mana, and 75 physical protection. Breastplate of Valor is beneficial even against a heavily magical offense due to its physical protection, which protects against both minions and towers, helping you push lanes. Boots of Celerity is more of a situational pick. If you feel you need the bonus crowd control reduction and HP and MP5 that Reinforced Boots offer, please pick them instead. However, given that Ares' second ability, Bolster Defenses, provides 30% crowd control reduction at max level, I often opt to build Boots of Celerity instead of Reinforced Boots. As I stated earlier, you need to incorporate a Void Stone into your build. At max rank, Void Stone provides you with 50 magical power, 60 magical resistance, and provides an aura that removes 25 magical protection of all enemies within 55 feet of you. The next topic I want to talk about is dealing with those nasty physical carries. When faced against a hard-hitting physical carry, like Loki, I recommend 3 items to consider in your build. Sovereignty, Mystical Mark, and Hide the Nemean Lion. Sovereignty is my recommendation if you want to deal extra damage and have a higher health pool. It provides 65 bonus physical protection and 450 extra health at max rank. It also applies an aura, providing you and your teammates within 40 feet 20 physical and magical protection. This is one of my first recommendations for physical defense. The bonus physical protection and health helps you, and the aura helps your team out, and as a tank, you need to be a team player. Mystical Mark provides 300 health, 60 physical protection, and it applies an aura that deals 40 magic damage to all nearby enemies every second. Let me just say this, I love this item, I love to build it on tanks, I like everything about it. It gives me bonus physical protection, extra health, and it gives me a sick aura, which just compounds so nicely with Ares' Blessed Presence passive. Build this item. You will not regret it. Hide the Nemean Lion should be one of the last items you factor into your physical defense. It provides 200 bonus health and 80 physical protection. And it has a passive which reflects 30% of all basic attacks back to the attacker. However, this passive isn't an aura, so it only helps you, not your team. And generally speaking, people ignore tanks. They go for your carries. This item isn't that great. However, if you do find yourself being focused, feel free to build it, but don't make it your first item pick. I've gone over physical protections. Now I'm going to tell you how to make those magic damage dealing enemy gods feel like they're hitting you with pillows. There are 3 items I recommend you consider for your magical defense build. Bulwark of Hope, Stone of Gaia, and Magi's Blessing. Bulwark of Hope provides 60 magical protection and 450 health. Where this item really shines is its passive. If you fall below 25% health, you gain a shield that reduces damage by 50% for a single second. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but in a MOBA, a lot can happen in a second. The passive off this item has saved me from devastating attacks, like Anubis' ult or Hebo's ult. It's also helped me dive past towers and secure a kill for my team. I highly recommend this item. Stone of Gaia is the epitome of magical carry nullifiers. It gives you 70 magical protection, 25 HP5, 10 MP5, and it has a passive that regenerates 2% of your maximum health every 5 seconds. Build this item if you need to sustain a lane longer, or you find yourself needing extra magical protection. My last recommendation for magical protection is Magi's Blessing. It provides 50 magical protection and 350 health and mana. No, it may not provide as much health or magical protection as Bulwark of Hope, nor does it give you the regenerative qualities of Stone of Gaia. It provides you with a shield that absorbs one offensive enemy ability every 30 seconds. Now, if you're up against a god like Anubis, this could really piss him or her off because it could stop their Mummify pretty frequently. My recommendation for building this item is only build it if you find yourself often struck by stuns, fears, or really significantly damaging abilities. That covers items, but what about abilities? As a tank, I recommend you grab either Girdle of Might or Hand of the Gods to help your lane partner grab jungle buffs to get that early lane advantage. I want to address something very important to Ares and all other tanks: who you lane with. Generally speaking, a good lane partner for Ares is someone who provides heavy damage, a decent amount of crowd control, or a combination of the two. A bad lane partner is someone who has little to no crowd control, little damage capability, or both the aforementioned. Other tanks are an example of bad lane partners. They simply don't do enough damage. Now don't worry, I'm not just going to tell you this and not give you some examples. I'm now going to list a few good lane partners for Ares and a few bad lane partners. By far the two best lane partners for Ares are Zeus and Poseidon by virtue of their incredible damage potential from their ultimates. The strategy behind laning with Zeus or Poseidon is to use your ultimate, No Escape, to drag the enemy gods into Zeus or Poseidon's ultimate. If you're laning with Zeus, or another god whose bulk damage comes from one single ability, such as Anubis' ultimate, remember to use your Girdle of Might to provide them with the bonus damage they need to finish that kill. Using it or not using it can be the difference between securing a kill for your team or letting the enemies get away. Speaking of enemies getting away, remember that Ares' first ability, Shackles, applies a debuff called Cripple to the enemy gods it's used on. When crippled, enemy gods can't leap or dash. This makes this ability great for stopping people from leaping away. You know, people like Odin, Bakasura, Wukong, or stopping people from dashing away, like, I don't know, Agni. I've mentioned good lane partners, but now I want to mention bad lane partners. Generally speaking, other tanks are a terrible pick for your lane partner. They don't do enough damage to justify the extra crowd control that they bring. Another good example of a bad lane partner is someone who might deal damage, but not in AoE forms. Someone whose purely single target just simply doesn't synergize well with your ultimate. Let's talk about your role in the late game and in teamfights. In teamfights, your role as Ares is the initiator. You need to be in front of the action, taking the hits for your team. A common issue I see with many Ares, and myself when I was beginning to play Ares, is the tendency to spam your ultimate whenever you can. This is generally a bad idea. What you instead want to do is you want to position yourself in such a way that you grab as many enemies as possible. You also don't want to use your ultimate if your teammates are of low health. You could get your team killed doing this. Furthermore, if your teammates' abilities are on cooldown, using your ultimate is a pretty big waste. That's why as Ares, and any other tank really, you need to be communicative with your team. You need to have that communication to coordinate when you're going to use your abilities and how. On a final note, remember that Ares' second ability, Bolster Defenses, can save your team from death. The bonus physical and magical protection, on top of crowd control reduction, can aid your team in escaping and surviving sticky situations. That's it for today's God Guide on Ares, the God of War. If you have any feedback or suggestions on how to make these guides improve, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below. Smile, have a great day, and take it easy, YouTube.